Okay, sorry about that. Back on. See if anyone's around. So again, put your name in a live chat, and I'm going to show you how this works with reference to the example. Evie, yes, appreciate it. I mean, to be fair, I think you know this from some of the things you're saying. So yeah. I mean, the one I'll teach next time will be different. Cool. Glad you're back. Right, so I apologize for this. You can see this is, I don't usually use this method, and that's why it's not as good as it might be. But now we're back on like kind of like solid ground where, you know, I do this stuff all the time now, so it's comfy. So what is the example I'm going to be doing? I'm doing the work example in page 2 in your pack, okay? And to be fair, it's not a particularly difficult one. We'll just blast it and get on with it. Let's not waste any more time. Okay, cool. With the chi-squared, why is that camera messing around? Man, I'm having no luck with anything today. Am I cursed or something? All right, chi-squared, you need to have degrees of freedom, okay? And what the hell are degrees of freedom? They're the things that help you classify what part of the table you're in to be able to kind of like be able to do stuff. Okay, cool. So the question, if you got the worked example, was literally the one I told you about, the males and females. Hey guys, good to see all of you. And whether they prefer the car or the soft toy. So the way you do it is you just look at how many columns you've got. So here you've got male, female, and how many rows you've got. I know I've got not the other way around, but you know, it's the 2 times 2, yeah? And what you do is you subtract 1 from each of those numbers. So you're going to go, well, I have two columns, so it's 2 minus 1. Then multiply it by the number of rows, minus 1. So here, you only have 1 degree of freedom because 1 times 1 is 1, okay? So degrees of freedom are incredibly important to chi-squared because when we're going to look at the table in a minute, yeah, which is the lookup table I emailed you in your email, that's going to tell you which one to pick. Okay. You also need to define your hypotheses, okay? So my null hypothesis, I'm going to run on this, I'm going to be very politically correct. My null hypothesis is going to be H0, no difference, okay? So there's no difference if you're a boy or a girl, whether you pick the soft toy or whether you pick the car. They're just toys. You just like toys. Doesn't matter what it is, right? So the null H0 here is you'll note there is no difference in this particular situation, all right? Now we're going to do the calculation. So we've got H0 is no difference, H1 there is. So it'll be an example of a two-tail test. We do not include the column or the row, no, because that's not telling you any new information, yeah? So thank you for raising that up. That's not how that works. It's literally your categories. Your categories are car and soft toy. So that's 2 categories. So 2 minus 1 is 1. And your rows are male and female. 2 minus 1 is 1, yeah? So we've got now the degrees of freedom is 1. Now we need to work out the chi-squared value. Now they've just told you that it's 3.84, but I'm going to show you how to do that calculation by hand. Obviously, in real life, what you have is a calculator and you press equals, right? And there's specific computer software that can do that. It's called SPSS. Anyone who's doing psychology or to be honest with you, any kind of like social science, it's going to meet SPSS or one of its brothers. And I don't propose to kind of like teach you that software in the next week and a half. By the way, if you hadn't realized, your last lessons at all in college are not this Friday, but they're not next Friday either. It's next Thursday, because next Friday, not this Friday, a week, and then Friday again, is a bank holiday. It's Bank Holiday Friday. So you'll have me in your very last day. It's kind of sad. Kind of happy, kind of sad. You know what I mean? Anyways, how do you calculate the chi-squared? How do you calculate chi-squared? This is how it works. What you do is you create a table of what you'd expect to happen. Our values of this are 15, 15. Yes, you don't get the Friday. Do you have something fun on the Friday? I wish I had fun. I don't have any fun. Well, I have core math, but that's the last core math as well. So this is what you're expected if the null hypothesis is true. If null is true, nothing is different. Whether you're a boy or a girl, whether you like cars or whether you like soft toys, everything will be the same because there's no difference between them. So that's your expected table. And you remember that the formula says, let me just get rid of the SPSS, sigma O minus E squared over E. So we're going to apply that formula now. I'll give you a minute to get that copied down, then we're going to do the actual calculation. Then I'll show you how to run the table. I'll probably end up doing one more example after that, then I'll shut up and go away. All right, fair shout? I still don't know what's wrong with Catalina. She's just like, no, oh my God, I can't do your accent at all. You don't sound like that at all. I mean, nobody sounds like what I just sounded like, but you know, it is what it is. So copy down what's there already. Once you've copied it, can you just put in the live chat that you've copied it so I know when to move on? And if you don't understand anything of what I've said, I mean, do ask, because that's one of the few things, like, you know, the stats stuff and decision maths is about the only maths I actually ever do in real life. I mean, the rest of it, I'll get money for teaching it to you. But like, when I want to see whether things I'm doing are making effectiveness, I will do something like a chi-square test or a Mann-Whitney, which is the next thing I want to teach you next lesson. Because they tell me whether, like, whatever my opinion is in real life, is this working? Are you being a better person? Okay, cool. I mean, look, if it's because you're going to miss something on Friday, that's sad. If you're just going to go because you're going to miss me, I miss you too. But you know what? We will meet again once, whether that be results day, whether that be, I don't know, the college may open before September. If it does, of course, I'll invite you and I'll, you know, food and all the rest of it. Thank you, Aisha. Practical. So yeah, don't. It is very, very sad. But we will, I promised you at the end of, on that last day on Wednesday, remember that Wednesday when we all packed up, we will meet again. We will. Did you notice the Queen stole my last line when she made a speech? We will all meet again. That's my line. I thought of it. Yes, I'm right. She copied it. Right. Okay. Cool. So let's do this. Hopefully you remember all the stuff. I'm keeping the formula there because you need it. Super. I mean, you can't see the Queen. The law around the Queen is crazy, crazy. You know, if you, yeah, I mean, you want to know about that, I mean, study law. Have you guys heard about some of the stuff they're talking about universities? Now, a lot of you mentioned that you didn't want to do whatever, you know, if not that you didn't want to, I don't think anyone wants to come back next year. I mean, you've done your time, I get that. But like, one of the reasons that might make you settle for an E or a D, not saying that any of you would, but if that happened, was because you'd miss out university this year. Will there be a results day? Seeing as this is Ramadan, I'll say inshallah. Beyond, I can't tell you anything. But what I was reading in the newspaper is some good universities like Manchester, I mean, Manchester's top tier, are saying that they're willing to start in January for certain people. So like, if you're panicking, because you think, oh my God, I'm not going to get my grade in, I don't know, sociology, because I always laugh at sociology. Don't panic. Even top Russell Group universities will be opening in January. So don't stress yourself out too much. It might be the end of the world, but it won't be the end of the world for you. Right, let's do this formula. Okay, so for the male car, the observed was 18 and the expected is 15 squared. The next one, 12 minus 15 squared. The one after that, the reason why there's a plus sign in there is because we're adding them, because it's a sigma. And the last one there would be what? 20 minus 15 squared. Okay, so what we've got there, and then we're going to divide all of those by the expected value here. That's the E. So each one of these, I think probably the best way if I divide all of them by 4 individually. I'm sorry, by all of them by 15 individually rather than do it like that. So that's what you see. My apologies, that wasn't as clear as it might be. It still works the same way, actually. Because really all I've done is factorize out 15, but I think it makes more sense if I do it this way. Yeah? So 9 over 15. Do you know what? If you think you've got problems, think about me. I mean, you should always think about me because, you know, cool. But like, I was planning to leave, right? Where's that going? That's a whole nother situation. I didn't tell anyone, like, I only told you guys. I mean, that shows you how much I trust people in this place, but you know. So yeah, you're not the only one with problems by any means. So there we go. You have got 68 over 15. 68 over 15. Okay. And that gives you a value of, so I'm sorry, I'm just going to move the camera so it actually does work for you. So that is 68 over 15. Now, the textbook, the worksheet, tells you that's 4.29. And guess what? It is 4.29. Aren't we clever? Yeah, or roughly, anyways. 4, yeah, 8 over 15. I guess so. 8 over 15 is a bit. It's not 68. I get that right. Is that it is whatever that is. I'm not going to go back on that. Have you even handed in your notes yet? Nope. I mean, you're going to be a bit okay. I'm not criticizing you because it's obviously a sensible question for you to ask. But given where the world is going right now, you'd have to be brave, very brave, to walk away from a job that's that well paid. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I make a fair bit of money doing tuitions as well, so I mean, I'm not going to be bankrupt even if I did. But you'd be, should we say, courageous? That's a good word. To do something like that. It's like, yeah. So basically, you should all know this. Anyways, suppose like you get a job. You can't just randomly say, well, some you can, but you get punished for it. You can't just say to your boss, go F yourself. I'm tired of you. Exit life. I'm never coming back. Because if you do that, obviously they'll kill you on your CVs. And obviously you sign a contract, especially for a teacher. Teacher can't just walk out. Because you can imagine, like, you have an argument with your head of department, and then you just walk out on your kids 1 month before the exams. I mean, it's not classy, is it? Let's be real. Anyways, we'll leave that by the by. All right. So they claim that's 4.29. I'm not convinced it is. I think it's closer to 4.49. I think I made a mistake on that. They made a mistake, not us particularly. Unless I've made a mistake with my sums, I don't think I have. So yeah, it is whatever that 68 over 15 is. Doesn't matter, actually, doesn't change the question. So you've got your value, yes? 68 over 15. What is it over 15? I'm just going to check that. 68 over 15 is 4.53. Yeah, I mean, I've got the formula. I'm just checking if there's any mistakes. 12 over 15 is 3, 3. That's 9, 9. 9 and 9 is 18. 5 and 5, 25. Yeah, I can't see a mistake there. I mean, I'm just going to go with that. What does it claim it is? 64 over 15, 4.53. I'm going to run it as 4.53. If I'm wrong, my mistake, but the formula checks out. It's 0 over E minus E. That is 9. That is 9. That's 25. That's 25. If I made a mistake, you know what? I'll correct it next lesson. 4.53, comfy. All right, cool. So we know what our chi-squared value is. It's that, yeah? Great. How can we use that? How can we use that? Okay. Well, next thing you need to do is go to your table. So I emailed you a table. And it's the one that goes chi-squared tab, chi-squared table, yeah? And if you open that, you see a table that's got various, keep 4.53 in mind. A table that goes number at the top. It says DF, which the clever ones among you would go degrees of freedom. Whoa, nearly knocked the camera off. So I'll put this one. I'll write out something. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what it goes down there. And these are your probability tests. 0.995, 0.99, 0.975, and then so on and so forth, right? And those are your probability tests. The ones you're most familiar with are the ones that go 0.1, so that's a 10% test, 0.05, that's a 5% test, and then 0.025, which is a 2.5% test. And of course, 0.01 would be a 1% test, all right? Now, the degrees of freedom, you pick the one you've got. So here we've got 1 degree of freedom. All right, so 1 degree of freedom. And at a 5% level, that's a 3.84. But our value was 4 point something, whether you agree with them or whether you agree with me. You get 4 and a bit, whatever happens. All right? And that's bigger than the table says should happen for a 5%. So it's significant, yeah? So when when the value you get is larger than your table value, yeah, when this value here, so it's 4, I had it's 4.53. I'm going to stick with that until I can find where if and when I make a mistake. I've got 3.84 from my table. This is much, but this is bigger than 3.84. So therefore, we reject the null hypothesis. So that's how you read the table off. All right, that's how you read the table off. Okay, so you go to your table. look at your chi-squared value that you calculated compared to the table's value of the chi-squared, and then you can see if you're bigger, reject null. If you're smaller, accept null. Pretty simple. I'll give you a few seconds to have that written down. Mainly more to do with like what I said rather than copying out what's there. Okay. And what does it do? It tells you whether to accept or reject your null hypothesis. Now, what is the use of that to you? It gives you evidence to say, well, if you walk into, suppose like you are, let's say you're working in finance, and you say, I want to try this new trade, or let's say foreign exchange, yeah? I made this much more money. Your boss is going to go, okay, prove to me that it was your trade and it wasn't just dumb luck. Then you do a chi-square test and go, I'd expect to get this if it was just average, if it was just normal. I've made this, I'm above average. So it's evidence for me to do something. It's the same argument. You explain, oh, notice. It basically warns, it gives time for like whoever's, suppose like it was you're working in McDonald's. It gives time for McDonald's to recruit a new person. Yeah. So if you know that someone's leaving, I mean, like somewhere like McDonald's, people just quit all the time and it's not the end of the world. But if I, for example, if I quit my job, that would be, and I didn't give a notice, that's going to haunt me for a long time because everyone will just go, he's unreliable. He can walk out at any time if something's not, good. And who would recruit someone like that? All right. We'll do one more example. Mainly because I'm interested to see whether it's me messing up the formula or not. Another question 5, but I'm not going to actually do the question. What we're going to do is we're going to see if we can work out the chi-squared. Actually, would you be able to do that? No, let's leave that one. Ooh, because the sums on that are going to get very awkward very quickly. Okay, so the questions you've got, can I ask you to flick to the end? There's one thing there. Pick one that you want me to do. Please, sir, don't leave the school. Why does it affect you? You won't be there. I mean, I've missed my year 12 normals. We see you next year, not taking a gap year. I mean, I'm thinking about taking a gap year, I remember saying I was going to go out and find myself, and the person I was with at the time laughed at me. I was like, well, kill yourself at that point, and thank you, my dear. But, it's why not? I mean, why can't I have a gap year? I've been bloody working since I was 10 or 6. Right, cool. So have a look at the questions. We'll do one together. You pick which one, then we're done for today. All right? I mean, I'm already losing people as it is. It seems like people are dropping off this, so better get this done short. I mean, tell you what, I'm going to do 4 and then get this over and done with because I feel like I don't want to waste too much of your time, you know what I mean? But if I do one example on this, right, the question 4 actually asks, is it a correct test to use? I'm going to ignore that and I'm going to go, well, I'm going to use the test anyway, whether it's the right one or not. Okay? So here's TV watching. This one's quite relevant to people because like everyone's sleep patterns are kind of baffled, especially with this lockdown business. So what we're going to do is is there a connection between TV watching and the quality of your sleep? Okay, so H0 is going to be no change. Yeah. So if you watch, it doesn't matter whether you watch TV or not. So no connection or whatever. So no connection between TV and sleep. So basically, it's like, is there a difference between when you watch TV just before you go to sleep and not? Does that affect how good your sleep is? And H1 is there is a connection. I mean, I'm sure you know where they're going with this, in that they're expecting you to kind of like think that if you watch less TV before you sleep, that'll be better. So if you look at this table, the numbers are different. So their sample sizes are dodgy. One's the sample 20, one's sample 15, but we can handle it. Our expected table would look like this. 10, 10. So go 10, 10 for the TV, 10 good, 10 poor. And the other one should go 7.5, 7.5, which means I'll need a calculator at some point. How did I get that? I split the watching TV equally. So there's 20 people watching TV, I split them 10 and 10. Didn't watch TV, I split them equally 7.5, 7.5. Okay. What I'm going to do is just run the formula for you guys now, so you know how it looks when they're uneven. Do the calculation, and that's us done. And I think that's me done as well. All right. So remember, the formula goes sigma O over E squared over E. So it's that guy. So your first one would go 14 minus 10 is 4. So 4 squared over 10. Then the next one would be, again, 4 squared over 10. This one here would be, they're both 7.5. Actually, I'm dumb. I'm being dumb, sorry. Actually, it is. Just by dumb luck, I've got away with that. But yeah. Next one is going to be 9 minus 7, that's 1.5 squared over 7.5. And then the last one is, again, it's one. They're all quite symmetrical, which is quite nice. 1.5 over 7.5. And then if you add them together, you'd get a value. How many degrees of freedom would you have? Of course, you just have 1, because you've got 2 columns going this way, so 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 columns going this way, 2 minus 1 is 1. What I'm going to do is work this out and see from their data, is there any difference between watching TV or not? Is it statistically significant? So you've got what, 32 over 10, 2.25. 2.25 is what, 4.5? So it's going to be what? Yeah, 4.5. Just 32, so 3.2 plus 4.5 over 7. No, 2.5 is. No, it's 4.5. 4.5 over 7.5. Let's bracket. So if you want to do this calculation yourself, feel free to. I'm just going to do it for you. So as I said, I'm trying to bring this to an end now, so I don't want to waste your time more than I have. But like, you will probably in your life have to do this calculation at least once. So I got 3.8 on this, and then if I got it wrong again, let me know. 16 and 16 32. 32 over 10, 3.2. This guy here is 4.5 over 7.5. So I reckon that is 3.8. You go to your table, 1 degree of freedom at 5%. Doesn't have to be 5%, but that's what I'm doing. So it's 1 degree of freedom. On this table, 3.84 is the value. This is smaller than this. So 3.84 is what the table gives me. So the actual value is smaller than what the table value gives me. I've got no reason to reject the null hypothesis here. I accept the null hypothesis. There is no connection on this data between watching TV before you go to sleep and having good sleep. All right? So that's me done. I'm going to hang around there for a minute or two if anyone needs any more help with the mathematics. I do recommend just do the questions. You've got nothing better to do, right? And the questions aren't particularly difficult. I mean, I'm not collecting them in unless people want to like literally show me an answer. Next lesson, I'm going to show you something called the Mann-Whitney Test, which is another variation of this. Thursday is one-to-ones. The last week, we're going to do things that like a little bit more kind of offbeat. I'll show you how to pass IQ tests for jobs. If people are interested, put this in the chat box. It's something I'm really keen to do, but I don't know how relevant it is for you guys. People are looking to make money over the summer. I'll teach you how to be a maths tutor, because that's like £30 an hour if you're doing that right. But if people are not interested in that, I don't want to make a video that no one's watching. And then on Thursday, it's our goodbye kind of celebration thingy. And I might say not do that at 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll do that maybe, I don't know, 4 or whatever's convenient to people. So it's kind of counterintuitive to do a last lesson, a fun last lesson, a goodbye last lesson. We'll get everyone on the group chat, but it won't be fun to do it at 9 a.m. You know what I mean? So tell me what you think about that. I'm going to give you one-to-ones anyways. So that's this week and next week. So this week, there'll be some statistics, some hardcore statistics. Would be good to do, but I'm too lazy to do it. I mean, when it comes to getting money, I think most people can beat being lazy. So this week will be like actual hardcore stats on one-to-ones. Next week will be kind of like varied topics. Tell me what you think and what you want to have happen. By the way, can I congratulate you, Evie, on your outstanding Wi-Fi? Because your reflexes are incredibly quick in answering questions. I'm hanging around here for a minute. If you're done, tutoring is long and it's not like you. I mean, I used to think that. I did work. What did I do? My best, apart from like, you don't take this the wrong way, right? Yeah, stuff like that. But also like the things that they're looking for. Let me say something to you on levels, right? Your class was one of my greatest classes of all time. But in terms of like my whole teaching life, the most fun I ever had was the week I spent in a primary school. I just literally spent my whole day laughing my head off because little kids are funny. Trust me. And to be fair, like, yeah. I mean, it's up to you. Steph, yeah, don't worry. I know if you're watching. Right, just seeing that now, yeah. Don't worry. I was an annoying student. I mean, it might teach you a lesson, actually, for you. You know it is. So, yeah, as I'm hanging around here for a few minutes, up to year 2 is just anything older, Sojar, no, they are going to be literally, I promise you, Evie. I'm not saying you need to do this. To be fair, I really should not encourage you because, like, I make a lot of money out of this. But, like, they will hero worship you. I mean, the kind of questions I get asked, I feel like some of these kids think I'm their dad. Legit. I mean, it's mad. And you just think to yourself, well, bloody hell, you have that much respect. I don't have that much respect for you. I'm not saying you should do, I mean, I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm saying, I'm gathering from this one, we don't want, this isn't the thing, so we won't do it. Louis Vuitton and Gucci, that's a good shout. I think it's for retail, you have to stand up a lot. And I'm kind of lazy. I mean, maybe we'll do a lesson on like what other jobs you can do making best of your A levels. Just in case you decide, you know what, let me have a gap year or whatever, and I need to make some money. Luxury retail, sorry. I've been in like, okay, here's your random misogyny for the day, right? The people who work in there are more beautiful in luxury retail. There is no doubt about that. I think they do that on purpose to make you feel unworthy. It's like I walked into, what did I go into? It might have been Mont Blanc. It probably was either Mont Blanc or Rolex, right? And the women in there, you just feel like I don't even have the guts to speak to you. I just feel like ugly. And I'm a man. And like, generally, I don't care about any of this. But like, it's just the whole surround. I swear they do it to scare you into buying things. It didn't work on me. I'm not that stupid. But you know, I honestly think there is an ugly person rule at luxury shops. Yeah, I mean, that's good money, actually. That's good money. I mean, it's a very Asian thing to do. Like, we all know there is this Asian girl that goes around and make a fortune doing like people's mendies and, you know, nails and all the rest of it. You can make a fair bit of money on that. That's decent. If you are, as I said, you don't need to hang around here and keep me company. It's comfy. I'm done here. I wanted to show you a thing and I've shown you a thing. I'll show you another thing on Wednesday. Another statistical thing anyways. It is, and it is. It depends how you do it. Like, I know people that go to people's houses. That's the best one because you don't need a premises. You just need your resources. And the thing is, it's like tutoring. It's word of mouth. If you're good, bye Evie. If you're good, that sounded hard. Bye Evie. Then yeah, your name will come around and like people will rate you. You can make loads of money that way. But the flip side of that is if you're bad, if you screw up, if you give like someone a unibrow, I would love to see some of you in the university. See you later, Ash. Then it's then that's a different thing. I'm done here, as I said, so feel free to vanish. Take care, Alex. I'm just holding the fort for a minute or two in case anyone's got any questions about this. Surveys are okay. Take care. Look after yourself, Katerina. I'll see you on Wednesday. To be Man-Whitney or Wilcoxon, one way or the other. Feel free to vanish, my dudes. This is not like I'm going to turn this off in about 40 seconds anyway, so you know, this is how it goes. Take care, Aaron, and look after yourself. I mean, it's good to see all of you. I'll pop you all on the register. All right, let me just pop I'll do that when I do the card. Yep. By all means, vanish. I'm going to shut this down just so I'll make it around half an hour just for YouTube. That's literally all I'm doing. Oh, that's not worth it. I thought you mean you're one of the people that are doing the online service. I'll find something more profitable. I mean, you can make more than that, like doing security or something. Or there's other things you can do. Anyways, I'm off. I'll see you around. Take care. See you on Wednesday.